Will in the Edina Galleria. He likes shopping there because of the comfortable environment and the friendly staff. He finds clothes that actually fit him properly and are high-quality brands that will look great for years, whether he's golfing or working. Our favorites so far are Peter Millar, Johnny O, and Barber. We spend our money at Twill because we love the clothes and we love the no-pressure shopping. Drop by Twill in the Edina Galleria for the best shopping experience and best clothes you'll find in the Twin Cities.
So Zimmer doesn't blame the offensive line, and here's where I come down on that, Tim. I didn't blame the offensive line because I didn't think that the Vikings schemed it very well in terms of helping out with Khalil Mack often enough. But you start with Zimmer's comment, and let's go into what you think.
Yeah, he was asked about it, and he said, I think it's easy to throw blame on one group when there are a lot of things that happened in the course of the ball game. The offensive line is fighting their rear ends off, so I'm not going to place blame on them. My reaction to that quote is I do agree. I don't think it was lack of effort at all by the offensive line, but I do think that they were getting blown back. To me, they were out-muscled and a bit out-schemed because there were several times where the Bears were running stunts or games with their defensive linemen hooking around, and I just didn't think that those were picked up really well. The one very surprising aspect to me was I thought for sure going into this game that the Vikings would go with a lot of either two tight end sets or a lot of CJ Ham. And I actually thought because Khalil Mack moves around so much from one side to the other, that CJ Ham would be really involved in this offense. And Tyler Conklin, their tight end, is not a great blocking tight end. It's just not what he does. Missing David Morgan in this game especially was big. But, CJ Ham played 3 snaps on offense, and Tyler Conklin played 9. So, the plan apparently was to have the running backs, Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray, stay in to help out on pass protection a lot, which they did a fair amount of that. But, to me, when you look at how the snaps went, Dalvin Cook got 59 of the 67 offensive snaps, and Latavius Murray only had 6. So I view Latavius Murray as being better equipped to handle blitz pickup than Dalvin Cook. So if that's kind of your game plan going in, and especially when things turn where you think the running game is getting taken out of it, I don't understand why Latavius Murray was sidelined as much as he was.
Agree completely. And I would like to see, CJ Ham could have helped them in a lot of ways. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't move the defensive line. And if you're going to settle for that and say, okay, now we just got to go to short passing game or even a downfield passing game, you're going to need more help. CJ Ham, I think, would have been ideal. I found it really strange that they had a bye week to prepare for this game, and they seemed shocked by Khalil Mack, by Hicks, and by Trubisky's running ability.
Well, to me, yeah, I think Akeem Hicks was the monster of the game. People are going to look at what Khalil Mack did, and yes, he forced a fumble and recovered it, and he got a sack. But I thought throughout the course of the game, Akeem Hicks was the dominant factor among either of the team's defensive or offensive linemen. I thought he just owned that game. He looked like he was completely locked in, whereas the Vikings defensive line, especially, I thought Stephen Weatherly had a tremendous game in the running game, stringing out runs, but I was surprised to see how much success the Bears had running the ball up the middle. It looked like they were taking it to the Vikings interior defense physically, especially early in that game. And I think, if you want to talk about game planning, I thought the Bears offense had a very strong game plan in the first half where they are doing a lot of the motions and shifts and bringing receivers into the backfield before the snap to create at least an illusion that a run may be going outside. I really thought they had the Vikings defense on their heels in the first half, but I also thought that the Bears got away from that sort of thing in the second half. They ran the ball so well in the first half, but they ended up with more carries in the first half than they did the second half, when I would have expected them to be trying to close out the game with the running game. So, I think it's always interesting when you look and try to, place blame on coordinators or game plans. But I thought the Bears was much more creative and much more sound, especially in the first half, than the Vikings was.
Agree completely. Let's get to the Treadwell play, which is probably the defining play of the game. We do want to thank Mississippi Pub, MississippiPub.com, and Beaver Island Brewing. We'll be doing another show out at Mississippi Pub soon. Follow us on social media to find out the dates and times of our next live show. I'll bring some stuff to give away. We'd like to get some people out to the restaurant, have some fun talking about the Vikings and the NFL in general. MississippiPub.com, lunch specials, burger specials, Friday fish fries, view of the Mississippi River, which is really pretty this time of year, and of course their marina, great comfort food. We've eaten out there a few times ourselves. Check out MississippiPub.com and their co-sponsor Beaver Island Brewing out of St. Cloud. So Treadwell says he ran the right route, and I don't know whether that's true or not. What I do know, Tim, is he didn't. It's so often when a play doesn't go his way, he seems like he is very eager to display some kind of body language that blames somebody else.
Yeah. I agree with that. And in my mind, it looked like he just didn't really get his head around quick enough to see the ball. But, ultimately Cousins overthrew him. So that was his fault. And Cousins took the blame on himself after the game, saying that probably wasn't the right place to go with the ball. He thought that a cornerback was going to do one thing. The cornerback did a different thing. And he said he should have gone to Stephon Diggs. Trying to read between the lines, I think there's truth in what he said, but I also wonder if when he says he should have gone to Stephon Diggs, makes me think I trust Stephon Diggs more than I trust Laquan Treadwell. And, the fact of the matter is, the old saying, actions speak louder than words. So if Treadwell ran the right route and did everything he could, why was it that he was barely in the game after that? And there was a lot of Chad Beebe and Aldrick Robinson in the drives after that. And I think Treadwell was in on the touchdown to Robinson, but generally in the drives toward the end of the game when they were trying to make this furious comeback, it wasn't Treadwell in there. And that makes me think that either they didn't trust him or they saw him, maybe sulking or pouting on the sidelines after the interception. So Treadwell has some value, especially as a blocker and a red zone receiver, but ultimately I see Chad Beebe making more of an impression on this passing offense in the future than I do Laquan Treadwell. In fact, Beebe, this was only his second game up, and he had the exact same number of offensive snaps, 29, as Treadwell did. So I think there is a shift here that will start to happen where they go with more Beebe, and I'll be curious to see what that means as an offense overall. Does that mean that Adam Thielen, who's been so good as a slot receiver, does he have to play outside more, or do they, try to get Beebe moving around outside? I don't know, but Beebe offers more options for them in the passing game than Treadwell does.
Agreed, and I just think we've seen it all along. If Treadwell wasn't a first-round draft pick, he would not be getting all the opportunities. He has not earned them. Let me ask you this. I like Zylstra better than I like Treadwell. Do you think Beebe has passed Zylstra because he's better than Zylstra, or because he just kind of fits better, or he's more developed at this point?
I think neither. I don't think Beebe or Zylstra have great deep speed, but I think the way that Zylstra is built, I think he has some work to do on refining his routes yet, where Beebe, I think, has shown, because he is a really quick, short area guy, that he can create some separation and he'll attack the ball a little bit more. It's interesting to me that when they needed an additional receiver 2 weeks ago, that instead of going to Zylstra more with their offensive game plan, they just elevated Beebe off the practice squad and started using him more than Zylstra already. So, yeah, I think that he has passed Zylstra right now, but I also think there is some development going on with Zylstra, as you would expect with a guy that hasn't played in the NFL before. But you would also expect that a little bit with Beebe. I just wonder if Beebe, having his dad Don Beebe in his life, helping him out throughout his youth, is maybe a little bit more refined with route running and with understanding the NFL playbook. And so that's probably why he's getting a little more time right now.
That makes sense. Let's talk about Trubisky and the Vikings' approach to Trubisky and what Trubisky could mean for this division going forward. Do want to thank Fixology Repair, John Hedges' shop, third floor of Mall of America by Nordstrom's, also downtown in the Skyway, just south of the Wells Fargo Center. And special right now, John has partnered with Seiko. He has doubled his Seiko inventory, full assortment of Pulsar watches available now. He also has Kenneth Cole and Guess watches on sale right now. Most of those deals are out at the Mall of America location. The downtown location is great for repairs and accessories and things like that. But go out and visit John, as I have, out of the third floor of the Mall of America right by Nordstrom's.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at Mall of America. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at FixologyMN on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
So Trubisky, the interesting thing about Trubisky is anytime you see a young quarterback running around, you never really know what that's going to lead to. Is that because he's a great athlete? Is it going to make it? Is that sustainable? Is that covering up a lack of ability to read defenses and go through progressions? Right now, Trubisky's what he's doing is working very well in conjunction with this offense and playing with the team with a great defense and all those other things. Do you think he is running for the right reasons, or do you think he's covering up a lack of ability to read defenses?
Well, I would say yes to both of those. I think that is the right reason for him to run, is because I don't think he's reached the point in his career yet where, he's able to stand in the pocket and get to his third read. I think he's right now kind of a 1 to 1.5 read guy. And after that, he's looking to get out and scramble a bit, which, at this stage in his career, I think is fine, because it will take some time to develop. And let's remember, he only started 1 year at North Carolina before going into the NFL. So he doesn't have a great deal of experience with a pro system and handling all that entails. But I think they are gradually starting to put more on his plate. And we heard all throughout this week that what Matt Nagy is doing with Trubisky, it's a completely different offense, but he's also trusting him more than John Fox did. He's giving him things to work with that he likes, and I think getting him more involved in the game plan and what calls are played during a game. So all of that helps. I just think the Vikings were a bit surprised by his athleticism. They knew he could run. They knew he was one of the top rushing quarterbacks in the league. But I think his elusiveness really surprised them. I mean, when you are causing a couple of times during the game to have Danielle Hunter miss on you, that's that says something to me. I think he did a really good job, especially in the first half. In the second half, I think they made an adjustment, put a little bit more spy duties on him, or just didn't really rush him as much as they were trying to just keep him in the pocket. And I think that made a difference. So it'll be interesting to see, when the Vikings face the Bears again in the season finale, or when they are, the Bears in the next 5 games before they face the Vikings again, how do other defenses handle him? Absolutely.
The Vikings ended up with 1 sack last night. It was on a blitz where Eric Wilson wasn't blocked. That's an amazing thing that they didn't sack Trubisky, that Trubisky ran all over the place. I wonder if they had it to do over again, if they would kind of contain rush Trubisky instead of just going all out for the sack, just try to keep him in the pocket and force him to make decisions.
I absolutely think they would. And, I'm a little surprised that wasn't, more of it. But, I think a lot of times when you go into a game and you say, okay, it's a rookie quarterback or an inexperienced quarterback, and I think that was like Trubisky's 20th start or something like that. You probably do have a tendency to go, let's get after him. Let's blitz the guy. But when he starts making people miss as much as Trubisky did, then I think it is wise to switch it up and as you said, contain rush him, especially when you are outside and it's cold and it's maybe a little harder to throw the ball accurately. And,